quick reminder that Jesus is your savior, Donald Trump is your president, and realize how lucky you are to live in a country where you don't get shot if you go against your government. Just realize your blessings, please, and have empathy for those who don't have them.
Okay, I'm sorry, but this has me rolling.
That as a white Trump supporter, I am scared of this presidency because I have lost my freedom of speech. I have lost my freedom of religion. I have lost my freedom to wear this shirt in the public just because I have a different political view. Now I'm the enemy in my own country.
I think that that's unfortunate that happens to you, but it's almost like
Yogurt, I'm picking out yogurt who looks like someone just like you.
But it doesn't mean that you experience the same thing as me, even though we eat the same yogurt.
The Marxists, the anarchists, the agitators, the looters, and people who, in many instances, have absolutely no clue what they are doing.
Hola, ¿cómo estáis? I'm very excited because I'm gonna be performing in Canada.
How would you design the most fair society? Well, there's a concept called the veil of ignorance, and it's designed to show you how. The idea goes like this. Imagine that you're about to be born into a society, only you have no idea who as. So you don't know characteristics such as what race or gender you'll be, for instance. Now let's imagine that you had the task to design the society you are about to be born into. The argument goes that in this position, you would design the most fair society. You wouldn't create a world where one group subjugates another group because you wouldn't know which group you'd be a member of. Nor would you create any unnecessary barriers, since you would know that there would be a chance you would later have to face them. And so to imagine what the most fair society would look like, we ought to put ourselves in this position.
Trigger warning. I exist. I love Trump.
Nobody needs to know.
The Reynolds fan.
Nobody needs to know.
Is the name, Bimbola did the chain, Tono for the watch, Prezi plain Jane.
Yo, I'ma explain why you probably never see me. I push a Lamborghini, choke your magic like Houdini. My body shaped like genie, booty dreamy, waist is teeny. Yes, I.
People really want to talk about, well, black privilege exists when there are literally cities in my own state that I cannot go to because I would be lynched and the police would call it a suicide. But go off, I guess. Go off, Jonathan. Go off, Braxton. You got a great point.
Pull up to the party with a chopper. You gon' dance if I let this go. I'll be cooking up when I rap, so don't get popped like Crisco.
Alright, that's like.
Yo, bro, you next. Spit some shit. Why would you ask me?
If I should die.
Come on.
What we all know is that leftists have very small arms. Their arms look like little cigarettes. And hypothetically, I could smoke them, I could roast them, and then they'd text me that they love me, and then I'd freaking ghost them.
So, do you even left, bro? Today we're asking the question, what is praxis? Praxis comes from the Greeks, mostly associated with Aristotle. Thinking of humans always in three forms: theoria, the thinking to find truth; poiesis, the making of things to produce; and praxis, the practice of ethics, economics, and politics. Later, Karl Marx adopted praxis, referring to it as free, universal, and creative activities which humans use to shape the world and themselves. All social life is essentially practical. All mysteries that lead theory to mysticism find their rational solution in human praxis and the comprehension of this praxis. Marx argued that our perception was part of our relationship with the world. Society cannot be changed by reformers who only understand its needs, only by the revolutionary praxis of the masses whose interests coincide with those of society. Marx knew if we never got past envisioning a better world, we would never create one.
Thank you, President Trump. It is exciting to be part of the great American comeback story.
And the mystery mouse tool. That's a surprise tool that can help us later.
Guys, let's get one thing straight. Billionaires are no bueno. I know in my heart that today's billionaires were those kids on the playground that would say, I'm taking my kickball and leaving. Like, you don't have to be a dick, Matthew. And why are most of them white dudes that probably smell like the Parmesan at the back of the pantry? Where's the flavor, guys? I mean, take a look at Jeff Bezos. $100 says this man sleeps standing up looking directly at the moon like Count Dracula. And then there's Zucky Poo, Mark Zuckerberg. Tell me this isn't a set of stolen skin with a robotic skeleton being controlled by the Geico Gecko. Tell me, to my face. And here's my sleeper pick for the creepiest looking billionaire, Larry Ellison, aka Sunburned Steve Buscemi. Listen, Larry, my man, you've got to choose between the Mr. Potato Head mouth and the drawn-on facial hair. I don't make the rules. Listen, guys, me and my friends at Mischief have decided we've got to keep an eye out for Selena. And by Selena, I mean these slimy plutocrats. Stay safe out there, please.
Get fucked!
I've said this before and I'll say it again. Education is designed to do everything but educate. Starting from the age of 5, we are conditioned to be okay with sitting and working for 8 hours a day. And from then on, we are taught history wrong and encouraged not to think for ourselves or creatively or critically. One of the worst parts is this false sense of individualism that we're taught. To be competitive, to be number one. Education is a factory to produce more workers for other factories. And if you are lucky and you somehow make it through the education system and you don't become a factory worker, you can own a factory. And since you've been taught history wrong, and since you have this false sense of individualism, this will lead you to be more selfish and grimy when it comes to working as a factory owner. You will be unfair to your employees and compete with other factory owners. And even though you are the most free out of the other workers, you are still not 100% free. How about this? We stop calling education education and just call it condition.
I'm getting tired and I need somewhere to begin.
Welcome to the Red Kingdom. Yeah. Who threw it? Who threw it? Yo, right there, you see the hair. Look at that nigga smiling. Yo, he's smiling. Yo, he's smiling. Yo. Boom, boom, eat. 1, 2, 3.
I was trying to resist talking about critical race theory because I was sort of hoping the politicization of it would just fizzle out, but if anything, it's gaining momentum. Few people with any actual influence or power on the right talks about this subject in good faith. They know it's a virtue signal, we know it's a virtue signal, everyone virtue signals, but when Democrats virtue signal, they wear Kenta on the House floor. When Republicans virtue signal, they change the literal law so children will be even more poorly educated on US history than they already are. What annoys me most is that this has become the latest example of the right straw manning a relatively obscure issue so hard that it actually warps the general public's understanding of that issue. It's like some Republican staffer was on the Acela and eavesdropped on a legal professor on their way to Howard discussing the lecture they had that day on critical race theory and was like, "Excuse me, what are you talking about? Critical race theory. What's that?" It's a legal examination of how racism influences American institutions like law and consequently life in society. And this is a theory you teach? Well, it's a critical theory, but yes, I teach it. Say no more. And then he gleefully sprinted off to the hill to spread the news of the shiny new dog whistle he just found. Nevertheless, I've watched the conversation about critical race theory rapidly propel away from reality, and then Laura Ingraham tweeted this video.
Yo, bro, what the fuck? Yo, what the fuck is that?
What did I tell you? They have a silk touch shovel. They put these here.
Holy shit!
Damn. This is what the bourgeois are doing. They're getting
Fucking-
silk touch shovels.
I feel like these things aren't mutually exclusive. Like, I feel like you can support the gays and Palestinians at the same time, bro. What?
There's a power in what you do. Now every other day I've been watching you. Oh.